Hello, who are you and where are you from?
My name is Anthony Suau, and I live in New York City, New York. And what else do you need to know?
Um, what do you do?
I'm a photographer and filmmaker, documentary filmmaker.
And you said something about you have a connection to the environment.
Well, I think we all do. I think that we're all interconnected with the environment. We're all part of nature itself. So I think that's something that we've lost sight of in a way. And
You're making a documentary too, or
I'm in the process of finishing a documentary on the rise of organic farming throughout the United States. And I've interviewed a lot of people involved in that industry, of course. Most of them are interconnected with the environment and the planet and our connection with uh, the planet itself and nature. So it's somewhat on the forefront of what I do every day.
and you have did you say something about okay? And so has the climate changed since you were a kid?
No question. Yes, absolutely. Uh, as a photographer and documentary filmmaker, I've been present for a number of uh, climate catastrophes, such as Katrina, Sandy, of course, here in New York when it hit. And I've seen the effects that nature can have on the planet and how sort of irrelevant humanity is in the middle of the power of nature. And we tend to exaggerate our role in that. Uh, but yeah, that's those things you've seen change. The weather patterns have changed. I think every farmer that I dealt with in the last 10 years while I worked on this film has seen the climate change as they uh, grew over the last few years. Yeah.
And what about on an everyday basis? Let's say, I mean, do you think about the climate? Is it on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the most concerned. Where would you put yourself as a?
Pretty high. I think about it every day. Absolutely. You know, I live in New York City, so you're living in an urban environment where there's a lot of waste of energy. Uh, I don't see people in New York, although it's a very liberal um, community, really making a lot of sacrifices in terms of how they use energy. There's a lot of big cars, SUVs. You go down the road, they're all one person driving a big SUV, gas driven vehicles. Um, I just came from Florida yesterday, and I ran up and down the Siesta Keys, and there was red tide. There were more dead fish on the coastline than I've ever seen. It's almost constant down there now due to
She and I both have used
fertilizers and nutrients now moving into the waterways and destroying a lot of aquatic life in the Gulf and most of the waterways in the United States. We see the effects of what we're doing and how we're living in this world, and I really don't see, as much as I'd like to be optimistic about it, I'm not. I really don't think that humanity has a prayer. The planet will survive. The planet will be fine. But between the plastics, what we're doing to the oceans, what we're doing to carbon sequestration, the way we're using agriculture, um, the way we're using waste, it's just not sustainable. Uh, the way that we have it, it's just not going to. And we're not changing. I don't see us doing anything really relevant to make the necessary changes or sacrifices to maintain humanity at all.
Do you see conflict ahead, or?
There's going to be so much conflict when we have food shortages, uh, weather patterns will shift, droughts, mostly I think based on food and energy will be probably the most dramatic aspects of change that we're going to see in the next decades. I have a 22-year-old daughter who just graduated from Oxford and really worried about her future. She basically doesn't even think that she has one, her generation. And, it's sad. It's more than sad. It's catastrophic. And I just, there's a point where you just don't know what to do anymore.
And so no hope, and you don't, and no prescription.
There's obviously solutions to the problem. There's obviously answers from many people about what's going on. Organic farming, sustainable farming, where you do sequester carbon in the soil. The restraint of use of pesticides and fertilizers that are toxic is one aspect of it. But there are many aspects of the problem that need to be addressed, and I really don't see them being addressed in the kind of capitalist society that we live in, and that's based entirely on money.
Hi.
I think people go to brokers to invest their money
She called me.
in things. If they knew what they were putting their money into, they wouldn't. It would drive them crazy, and they don't even think about it. And we're supporting all of these big oil, big pharma, big ag in ways that they'll never go away. They'll maintain the power, they'll maintain the money and the political structures to
It goes from
to do nothing but damage to the planet, and to ultimately to humanity, because it's not the planet that's going to be wiped out. The planet will survive. It's humanity that will disappear.
Well, that is the news from here and in Central Park. Anything final thoughts other than those articulate thoughts?
Well, it's about being educated, I think, and just sort of looking at what's going on around us and trying to, we're going to have to make sacrifices in ways I just don't think most people are willing to make sacrifices. And I don't see that they are making sacrifices. So I just, I'm not optimistic in any way about it.
All right. This
All
is
right.
the 28th in Central Park. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.